fellow beaders, it's JP, and today I am bringing you a ring tutorial. I haven't made a ring in a long time. I think I made one, probably one of my first videos when I started the channel. Anyway, I call this the cage crystal ring, and it is a very blinged out ring. I've used bicones and Swarovski bicones and an 8mm Swarovski round bead in the center. So the round bead is caged in there, and as you can kind of see it peeks out from the sides and here on the top. So I'm using it here on this one. It's a fuchsia Swarovski round, so you can see it next to the sort of crystal AB bicones that I've got here, and I've got these really beautiful sort of multicolored superduos in this ring. And in this ring, I'm using actually a crystal AB 8mm round bead, and then I'm using the black diamond bicones AB. And again, you can see it's just caged in there. It's a really fun ring and lots of sparkle. I don't think the camera's picking up as much of the sparkle here, but anyway, you don't need a lot of material for this. You'll just need some bicones, superduos, some 8/0s. The 8mm bead doesn't have to be a Swarovski crystal, and you'll need some fire polish because of the way the ring sits for the band and just for the inside base, because you don't want this is going to sit against your finger, and a bicone can be used, but it's going to be uncomfortable for you. So let's get started. I hope you guys enjoy this. For our tutorial, you are going to need 8/0 seed beads, superduos, 8 fire polish beads, and 4mm fire polish, 8 of those, 4mm bicones, and an 8mm round. So round bead. I'm using a Swarovski crystal here. You can use any type of 8mm bead that you have at hand. It does not have to be a Swarovski crystal. Okay, so to begin, what you're going to do is string together 4 fire polish and 4 of your 8/0 seed beads. And then you're going to make a circle, go through all the beads. Also, you need about an arm span of thread and a size 10 beading needle. I am using 6-pound fireline, or 0.006 is what it's called, or you can use, and I'm using the one in smoke, but you can use wildfire also. Both will work just fine. Okay, so get a circle. All you need to do is, you don't need a very long tail, but you do need to make a square knot. And you want to make it fairly snug. So the tension has to be tight and the beads want to be close together. So just go through the next fire polish, 8/0, and fire polish. So we'll move the knot away. Like so. Then what you're going to do is pick up 3 superduos. And actually, if you don't have superduos, you can do this with twin beads also. Either will work in this case. Just wanted to get the focus adjusted there. Anyway, pick up your 3 superduos, and you're going to go back around the same bead from which your thread is exiting, like so. And there's your 3 superduos. Then go through the 8/0 and come out of the next fire polish, and you are going to repeat what you did. So you're going to pick up 3 of your superduos, and don't forget to check the holes of your superduos. So that, you know, the other hole is open. That's all. I just want to make sure you don't have a clogged hole. And repeat. So now we're going to go into this next fire polish. Pick up 3 superduos and go around our fire polish. And last time, go into the 8/0 and then fire polish. Okay, come out of this last fire polish, pick up 3 superduos, and you're going to do what you've been doing. You're going to go around the fire polish again, and going to get these looped around. And this is what you should get. This is what your component will look like. The next step is to go into the 8/0 and the fire polish. Like so. And then we're going to step up into the next round. So you go into the superduo beads here, and you might have to go through them one at a time depending on how they're sitting, or 2 like I did there. Like so. And you just want to really, the tension in this is going to be very important, especially in this part, which is going to be it's kind of the base for the ring. Now what you want to do is go up into the top hole of the superduo. Like so. You're going to get a little bit of thread here, but that's not going to show. It's going to get covered up as we continue. Next, what you're going to do is pick up a not a fire polish, a bicone, and go into the next superduo. And it should pop right in between. Do it again, pick up a bicone, go into the next 2 superduos. So you're actually going to go ahead and bring these 2 groups close together, like so. And again, repeat. We're going to add bicones. And my hand-eye coordination seems to be off today. Okay, so go into the next superduo here. Make sure you're pulling tight. I'm going to remind you about the tension a few times here. Do it again, pick it up, pick up a bicone, and this time you're going through the 2 superduos because you're going to want to work your way to the next group. Like so. And pick up a bicone, go through the superduo, make sure it's popping into place perfectly. Pick up a bicone again, and we're going to go through 2 superduos this time. Like so. Pick up a bicone, go through just 1 superduo. Like so. And pick up a bicone, go through this superduo and the next superduo here. So you got to bring all of this to close together. this is what you're going to get. And you're going to get a little bit of, you want it to start to pull together. There's going to be a little bit of cupping going on, and that's what you want. You want these guys to come close together. Now you're going to move up into the bicone and then go into your superduo, which since these guys are kind of sitting at angles, can't do it at once. Alright, so now I'm going to go into the superduo. Basically, you want to come out of this next bicone crystal. And we're here. Get my tail out of the way. Okay, so now you're going to pick up an 8/0, a superduo, and an 8/0, like so, and you're going to go into the next bicone. Tail thread got caught there, and here's what you're going to have. And then you go through the superduo, and if you can, go through the bicone. And you are going to pick up again an 8/0, superduo, 8/0, go through the next bicone. So you're going to put a 8/0, superduo, 8/0 between our little groups of bicones here. So we're going to do this once here and once over here. So now you got to work the thread out of this bicone. So go into the superduo, and then the bicone. And now pick up 8/0, superduo, 8/0, and we go into our next bicone. Like so. Okay, this is our last time, so we're going to go into the 8/0, or sorry, superduo, bicone, pick up an 8/0, superduo, 8/0, go into the bicone. Okay, so this is kind of the shape you should have at this point. And now you have to work your way into this next superduo that's here, that we just, from this round that we just added. So I'm coming out of this bicone, so I'm going to go into superduo and bicone if I can, and 8/0 too. Again, make sure your tension is tight. Go into the bottom hole of just the superduo. And then come out of the top hole. Like so. And our next step is to pick up an 8/0, a bicone, and an 8/0, and then go into our next open superduo here. And you'll have to pull snug again. Pick up an 8/0, a bicone and an 8/0, go through the next superduo, and this is what you should be getting. Everything will be start pulling in. 8/0, bicone, 8/0, next superduo, and we are going to do this one last time. 8/0, bicone, 8/0, and we're going to go through this superduo here, and then also the 8/0 and the bicone. Okay, so this is what you should get. You're going to get a little, basically you've made a little basket for our crystal that's going to go in the center. And so, but before we add the crystal, our round bead, that is, what you want to do is reinforce these beads one more time at least. So I'm just going to go through these again. And you want to, once you've gone around and you're satisfied with the reinforcement, come out of a crystal. Any one of the 4 crystals, it doesn't really matter which crystal, just and I'm not finding the hole. There we go. Okay, so you're now coming out of a crystal, and what you're going to do is pick up your 8mm bead and bring it all the way down, and then place it into the center of our basket here. And now you're coming out of this bicone here, and you see the thread is going in that direction. So you're going to place this, and then you're going to go to the bicone that is directly across from where the thread is exiting, and you're going to go through it in the same direction. So since our thread is going in this direction towards the left, I'm going to have the thread going towards the left in this other opposite side too. So, and this helps the bead stay in place. Now that you're exiting this bicone, what you're going to do is just make your way towards the next bicone. And your bead should be nice and fairly snug in there, but we're going to secure it a little more. And what you're going to do is actually pick up a bicone, and you're just going to go into the next bicone. So here's this bicone where the thread is exiting, and I'm going to go all the way over to this next bicone. Just the bicone, don't pick up any other beads. Like so. And again, you're going to pull tight. Like that. you're going to repeat. So you're going to pick up a bicone and you're going to go into this next bicone. Or it got caught there. And again, make sure you're pulling as tight as possible. Now, one thing I did was I went into the 8/0 and I don't want to do that. So just back out, pull, pick up a bicone, and go into the next bicone. So you're going to do this 2 more times, like so. Last time, pick up a bicone and go through the next bicone. And there you have it. This is our caged crystal. Is why I call this the caged crystal, because the crystal kind of gets caged in there. And then what you're going to do is just reinforce. So you're just going to go through all the bicones only a couple of times. So just go through it, reinforce it once or twice, and then we're going to work our way down to the superduo here that's between the 2 8/0s, and so we can make our band. A couple things I want you to note is that you can use this component instead of turning it into a ring like I'm showing you here. You can turn it into a pair of earrings, make 2 of them, use it as part of a bracelet. You can even use the reverse side of it. It looks really, really nice on either side. It's a very blinged out piece. You're going to get a lot of sparkle because of the bicones. So if you look at my white one here, I used a fuchsia around instead of a clear, and then my other crystals were all clear. And there's our band. So that's just a raw band, and it's just a fun ring. Or like I said, you can, it's a fun component, and so you can pretty much do anything you want with it. Don't have to make a ring, but looks very nice and blingy. Okay, so if you've reinforced everything, what you want to do is you're exiting a crystal that is between 2 8/0 beads. So it doesn't matter, and there should be any one of these 4 crystals. So these are crystals from the second to last round. So you had your last round where we just added crystals, and then, but prior to that we had added an 8/0 crystal 8/0. So if your thread is exiting that particular crystal, then what you want to do is just go into that 8/0 and the superduo. Then you're just going to turn down, so you're just going to go into that bottom hole and the 8/0 bead here. And this is where you're at. So now you're going to pick up a fire polish, an 8/0, and a fire polish. And you are going to go through this 8/0 here, and then back through the superduo. Like so. Then go into the next 8/0 and I'm beaded so tightly that it's a little bit hard to get through the beads. Okay, so there you go. Now work your way down, and I actually think we're going to reinforce this, at least. Actually, let's not reinforce this just yet because it'll do that as you work your way through the band. So just go into this next 8-0, come out of this fire polish, and then go into this 8-0. And this is where we're going to work some raw units for the band. Make sure that's tight, then pick up 3 8-0s and go back around the 8-0 that your thread's exiting from. Like that. Then you want to work your way into this next 8-0 bead here so that you can start adding more units. Pick up 3 8-0s and then you're just going to go back around the 8-0 like so, and then go through the next 2 8-0s and you are ready to add another unit. So you'll have to figure out how many units you'll need to add, and I found that I needed about 8 of these units in between the component and my fire polish, so I had to have 8 of these units. So just pick up 3, go back around the 8-0 here, and just keep going until you have as many units as you need, and I'll show you how to close the piece. Also, you don't have to use fire polish over here. I use fire polish because it's a lot more comfortable on your finger, because it's going to lay against your finger here. And if you use bicones, and you can if you want to, I just found that it was just it's going to be very uncomfortable. That was the other reason why when we started this piece, I started with 4 fire polish instead of bicones, because you could put bicones down there too if you don't have the 4mm fire polish. But again, I found that it was going to be uncomfortable with the bicones there, because the pointy, sharp part of the bicones kind of cuts into your finger. So it's better to use the fire polish. Anyway, go ahead and keep going until you get the desired length of band that you need for your finger. I have all of my 8 units that I need made. So my next step is that I'm exiting out of this last 8-0 bead. And what I'm going to do is I need to connect between this fire polish, or sorry, not fire polish, superduo, and these 8-0s here. So I'm going to pick up a fire polish, and I'm going to go into this 8-0, the superduo, and the next 8-0. And I actually didn't get through the second 8-0, so I'm going to go through that. Make sure your band is not twisted. Then pick up the other fire polish, and you're going to come back down into this 8-0 that's part of the band. So I have it loose here, but basically your thread was exiting this 8-0. You picked up the fire polish, then went into the 8-0 up here, then through the superduo, and came out of this 8-0, picked up the fire polish, and you came back down the same 8-0. So you made it's still a right angle weave unit, it's just a slightly different set of beads, that's all. And there you go. So your band is just done, almost done anyway. So all you're going to do is go through this one more time. So go back up the fire polish and 8/0 superduo. Pull tight, and then the 8/0 that is next to the superduo. It wants to go into the bicone. Don't want it to do that. And then come out of the fire polish. So this is what you should have. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come out, go into the 8/0 here. And I'm just turning this so you guys can, it's easier to work in this direction. Then go through this next 8/0. Pick up an 8/0 and go through the next 8/0 down. Like so. So what you're going to do is just, you're filling in the gaps between all your units here. So we're going to go into this next 8/0. After you pick up an 8/0 and go into the next 8/0. Pick up an 8/0, go into this next 8/0. So you're just filling in gaps between the side beads of your right angle weave units. Like so. Pick up another 8/0. So, the other thing I probably should have mentioned is that when you do this, this actually makes your band a little bit smaller. So when you're making your initial set of units, you actually want to make one extra unit more than what you need, because this shrinks up the band a little bit. So it'll be too small for you if you don't make one extra unit. Okay, so now we're at the opposite side. So we're just going to do a quick reinforcement, and you're coming out of this bead here. So you are just going to go into this 8/0 bead that's connecting, that has the 2 fire polish beads coming out of it. And then you're going to go into the fire polish and 8/0 bead here. Go into the superduo and 8/0. And then through this fire polish bead. Okay, so now we're on the opposite side of the band. Or actually we're not, we're back around. So go through this 8/0 again, here. And now you're going to go through this 8/0 on this side here. And now you're on the opposite side of the band. So you can see we filled in the gaps. So here's where we filled in the gaps. The gaps are not filled in on this side, so we're going to do that. So pick up an 8/0 and go through the next 8/0. And make sure you're pulling tight as you go. And you'll notice that the band is starting to get nice and firm and should feel strong in your fingers here. And that's what you want. You don't want your ring to fall apart on you after just a couple of wears. So as you can see, all I'm doing is picking up an 8/0 and then going through the next 8/0. And that's my last one. So, and we're back here at the top. So we're going to do one more round of reinforcement. So we're going to go into this 8/0. We're exiting this one, so we go into this one. And you can make a 1/2 inch knot here. And then go up into the fire polish. Go into the 8/0, superduo. Go into the connecting 8/0, which is and I would say make a 1/2 inch knot here. Go into the fire polish. On this 8/0. And then just go down through these beads and just make some more 1/2 inch knots as you go. And you can probably just, I have quite a little bit of thread left over, so I can work, reinforce the other side one more time. So all I'm doing is just going through a few beads, making a 1/2 inch knot, and make sure you don't accidentally skip a bead like I'm about to do there. Because that will not look nice. So I'm back up to the opposite side, and I'm just going to do one more set of reinforcing here. So I'm going to make a knot here, go through my fire polish, then through my 8/0 and my superduo, back through the 8/0, and like I did on the opposite side, I'm going to make a knot here, then through the fire polish, and through our connecting 8/0 here. And now we work our way down this and side of the band. This is just, again, you're reinforcing the band, and always need to have a good reinforced band. And this is going to be my last little 1/2 inch knot. So this should be a secure band. Okay, there you have it. There's our rings. So take a look. These are just really beautiful blinged out rings. They're fun. Cocktail rings, I guess you can call them. And I really, really like it. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And I'm going to put on my other ring. Got my 2 rings.